Welcome to That 30 Show, a podcast where we talk about the good, the bad, and the surprising parts of our 30s. I'm G, and I'm almost 30. My 20s are filled with milestone moments from graduating university to starting a career and moving out for the first time. I'm mostly excited about what this next decade will bring, and I've got an overwhelming feeling that the best years are yet to come.
And I'm David. I'm already in my mid-30s. I used to have no back pain or trouble sleeping, but now I live off a healthy diet of self-help books and dream of being in bed by 10 p.m. every night. Join us each week as we try to figure out together what life in your 30s is all about.
So, before we dive into our 2023 resolutions for this episode, I feel like this year you got more into reading. You bought a Kindle, and anything that you wanted to share in terms of reading and what you've been reading?
The last book I read that I really, really liked was Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I want to first acknowledge I've heard from, people I care about, people that I really respect who have problems with this book. I do know that David Goggins, has said some things that might be counterproductive. Some of his motivational tactics can feel very shaming or maybe come from a place of potentially toxic masculinity. But for me, I'm a tough love kind of guy. I really respond well to someone who tells me to suck it up and push past the pain and man up. And so I really resonate with the book because essentially the book more or less gives you the message of you can do a lot more than you think you can. And next time you think you're at your limits, push past it just a little bit because you're rarely, if ever, at your limits. And so, you want to be safe, you want to be healthy, but in this day where we are living in a society and an environment where we are beyond safe and beyond comfortable, I think the chances of us pushing past our limits in an unhealthy way are very rare. So that book really helped. And I think this idea of doing something even when it's hard, pushing past my limits, being disciplined consistently to push myself in the direction of the person I want to be, even when I don't feel like it. And so that book really was really good.
I've read a lot of similar books that talks about that, right? There's a book called The Power of One More, really similar ideas to where you think you're at your limit or you hit your goal and you do one more. Or you, if you're in business, for example, you're networking, you talk to one more person. And the idea is that maybe that one additional person is going to change everything, or the additional conversation that you have is going to change your life, or, one more rep in the gym. I think it's they're really similar ideas. And I think those ideas are more important now in our society than ever because so many people are wanting instant gratification. They are not patient enough for the delayed gratification, right? So people give up faster, I think, now in our yes. time. And so the idea that you need to push past that and just do one more, continue on, even when it's difficult, and don't quit so early on because you're looking at everyone and everyone's getting famous so quickly and rich so quickly and everything like that. You just kind of give up when you don't make $1 million in a month or whatever. So I agree.
I was wondering, I wanted to sort of think about that in the perspective of your 30s or your 20s. Is this just as much of an issue in your 20s or is it more in your 30s?
I feel like when we were 20s, we still knew what delayed gratification meant. We still, tried hard and worked our way, for example, through university and to get that job that we want or whatever. But now people in their 20s, I don't know. I feel like they're all about the instant gratification. So
I have to say, though, that in your 20s, you're just graduating university. Maybe you're going to grad school. And you're still, for at least half of your 20s, coasting along what is the standard life path. University, your first job. And so you're still on that path that society has curated for you, that you have less opportunity and less need to reflect and think about what changes and choices you need to make and can make that have a significant impact on your life. There's less time. And so I think this idea of like making the hard choices to move your life in the direction you want does become more prevalent in your 30s when we have more time to reflect and more disposable income to reflect on, is this the life that I want? I think most of us spend our 20s just striving for that financial security. And if we're lucky, we have that by the time we hit 30s, right? We're not super rich for most of us, but we have comfort and we have security and we have stability. So now we're like, okay, this is everything that our 20s, our education, our work internships, everything we've strived for. We're here now, right? You're looking around sort of at your life and then it's like, oh, this is still very far from where I want to be emotionally and mentally. And I think you realize that, okay, the job and the work, as we sort of talked about, is not everything. So I think 30s is not a huge difference in the sense of like, yeah, society has changed so profoundly that I think the instant gratification is a problem for people of all ages. But I feel like now in your 30s, you have more time, you're being given more time where those choices have a greater impact.
That's a good point because I think in your 20s, there's so many things that change in your 20s. Like you're going through university, you're sort of going through the motions for the better part of your 20s. Like you're going through university and you kind of hold on to that hope that you're going to end up with a career that you really like or really want. And then in your 30s, you're like, okay, well, I'm here. Is this something that I want to do until
Yeah.
like I retire in like when I'm, 60, 65? And because if I don't do anything and if I'm staying here, this is my life, like for the rest of, until I retire. I'm talking about work specifically, right? Like if you aren't intentional with your time and what you want to do, like you're going to be here. In university, you're like, okay, well, I have to be in university for this amount of
Yeah,
time. And then hopefully I can go and acquire my dream job or whatever after that, right? In your
exactly.
30s, this is where you are. Unless you decide to do something about it, this is the trajectory of your life is going to stay here. So, I mean, I'll just say that I do really like my job, but also, yeah, the thought of staying here until I'm 65 doing the exact same thing that I'm going to be doing, it's not what anyone wants. I don't think anyone wants that for their, you want to be continuing to progress.
You say that as if it's obvious, and I mean, I agree. So I don't, but the point, I think the fact is that it's a very cultural and generational thing. Back in the day,
That's true. That's true.
a few decades ago, in many Asian countries, for example, Korea, I know it certainly has that culture where you work for the company, you work for the company for your entire life. I think America was like that, right? Back in the day, maybe you work for your dad is a car mechanic or like works at Ford, and then you will grow up, and then you're gonna also work for Ford. That's just what you do. And then I think maybe that instant gratification thing you said earlier is actually part of this shift where we are no longer satisfied with just one job and one employer for our entire lives. But many people live very satisfying, very fulfilling lives that way for many decades. So I wonder if it's a job issue or if it's a mindset issue.
That's true. That's definitely true. I think what we have right now would have been our parents,
Great.
grandparents' dream,
Yeah,
versus now our dream is to go do something different every few years. And yeah, that's a really good point.
is there a book that you read this past year that you would like to plug and talk about?
We talked about this a little bit before, but I'm reading a book called Wealth Habits, and that is also one reflection that I have from this past year is that budgeting, finances, things like that. And I feel like I haven't been doing a great job of it. I sort of save some money and probably not the most strategic way. I just want to sort of be learning more about that. So the book I'm reading right now is called Wealth Habits by Candy Valentino. She is a real estate investor amongst many other things, and she's teaching more about like ordinary habits that you can have to achieve extraordinary financial freedom. They're very simple things that you can do, like living within your means and not spending more than you have, especially now and trying to prove to our friends that we can, the more
Right.
money we spend,
Right.
the more valuable you are,
Status.
apparently. Status, things like that. And as we get into our 30s, I feel like being able to better manage your money, saving money is now status.
I think that there's a shift, or there should be a shift in your 30s. You should get to a point in your life where you feel less and less of a need to prove anything to anyone because you're more comfortable with who you are. You reevaluate your relationship with your own ego. You understand where your self-worth comes from more, and this idea of need to project status through wealth and unwise financial purchases, I would hope most people understand is a misguided pursuit.
That is a huge
Huge
difference
top.
between your 20s and 30s, I think. Like
Oh
in your
yeah.
20s, status is everything and you care so much about what people think, especially when it comes to what you can buy and what you have. Definitely in your 30s, I think that is like a huge difference between your 20s and 30s, because in your 30s, like you said, you're more comfortable with who you are and you just don't feel the need as much to prove yourself.
I have to say though, I think that most have not redefined a healthy relationship with money, wealth, and status, even in their 30s. And I think that's a very common reason why people struggle internally and personally, perhaps. It's the comparison. It's comparing myself to others. It's hard. You can't help it, right? It's like, oh, this person has bought a house. And it's not just It's not just financial stuff. It's also this person has a family, has kids, has a
Yeah.
promotion, has multiple cars. I don't know. Like people struggle in their 30s because they see other people having what they think is success.
Maybe this is a topic for another day, but do you think comparison is the thief of joy?
There's a reason why that's an idiom. 100%. Yeah. I mean, short answer is yes, 100%.
I don't know if I 100% agree with that. I do think for the most part, it depends on what it is, what it is that you're comparing. But I
Well,
think,
actually, you're right because comparison can work both ways, right? Either you're comparing to something better or you're comparing to something worse. I think if you're comparing to something better that you don't have, then that is the thief of joy. But gratitude, the definition of that is comparison with something less, right? It's like I could be homeless right now, but I'm not. I'm grateful. I am happy. So
yeah.
comparison is probably only the thief of joy when you compare with something quote unquote better that you do not currently possess.
But
That's my answer.
but there's also, what about comparison that drives you to go do something? Like maybe if you're not comparing yourself, you wouldn't be so driven to go achieve that next thing that you're trying to achieve.
Yes, you should be driven by comparison, but in my opinion, the healthy way to do that is to detach yourself from the results and detach your self-esteem and your self-worth from the results. But I think the vast majority of us cannot detach ourselves from the results. So when we use that comparison to push ourselves, to motivate ourselves, it doesn't usually end up in a good place because we attach our self worth and self esteem to the results, which is not tenable because we don't have control over the results. We don't have control over our efforts. So in an ideal world, yeah, comparison is fine because you're gonna use that as a source of motivation. But then if you don't succeed on attaining your results and your goals, you're still gonna be like, that's fine. I'm good enough. But who the hell has that? I don't know. I certainly don't. And I would say most people don't, right? So I think that's why comparison, even though it can be healthy, it's a double-edged sword as a way to motivate yourself.
Yeah. I think we've done a lot of reflecting for the day.
Yes.
Anything else that you had that we didn't really touch on?
Well, I just want to say that we got to, quickly celebrate our achievements, accomplishments too when they happen. So I would say that in the past few months, I have gotten fit. What does that mean? It just means that
Woohoo.
I feel stronger and I have been more consistent with my workouts. That's what that means. I don't like talking about weight. I don't like talking about body image. But if you feel stronger, you're more healthy, and you're working out actively and consistently, that's great. And I think I've done that. I got
Consistency is the hardest part. So,
consistency. Like, we could do a whole entire freaking episode with consistency.
yeah.
I got laser eye surgery, which is life changing, and I think I've made strides in the main sport I play, badminton. So I feel good. Those are my main achievements, I think, this year.
That's awesome. And we should celebrate our achievements. So, there's some good reflection there.
Should
Shall
we
we
look
move
ahead?
on to our 2023? This is the exciting part. I know I often do a lot of reflecting too, but I think looking ahead is what makes me excited. So,
I think everyone needs something that they can look forward to, right? Whether it's a
Mhm.
vacation or like a goal you're working towards, a marathon you're going to run. Life is just not that interesting when you don't feel like there's something that you're hoping for or being excited for. New Year's resolutions. You've made a few, I think.
I love New Year's resolutions. I mean,
Why?
it maybe it's I don't know. Yeah, well, I do know. I
It's a love hate
love
thing for a lot of people. As in, like a lot of people hate it, a lot of people love it, but you love it. So tell us why.
I love it, and not even just because it's a New Year resolution, although New Year's resolutions are my favorite, but I just love fresh starts. I love the idea of a fresh beginning, and I know our there's people that will argue with me that 2023 January 1st is just another day and it's a continuation of the December 31st or whatever, but I always like to look at it that it's a new start. It's fresh, and I know you can do this every day, but there's something about January 1st that makes people excited. And for me, that happens also on Mondays. Like it's not just I love Mondays. I To me, Monday is a fresh start for me. 2023 or New Year's in general just brings me hope, like what this coming year can be. Um Makes me excited and motivated again. I know it's cliche, but it does it for me. It's a
I
mindset thing, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, jokes aside, like I can't remember what the psychological term or theory or research out there is about this, but I have listened to a podcast before where someone talked about how there were studies done, or I don't know, whatever, science, okay? Science was done to show that these artificial mental time-based markers that we sometimes give ourselves, whether it's New Year's Day or the end of the month or keeping a habit for 7 days, these artificial deadlines, it works for our brain. Like our brain does benefit from these artificial markers.
It can work both ways, right? If you're someone who, like, you can't be too focused on it because then you end up being the kind of person, if you have a habit and you screw up on a Wednesday, you're like, okay, let me wait until Monday for that fresh start before I, do anything again.
So, since you are such a fan of New Year's resolutions, there was a survey that was done recently that surveyed Canadians about their New Year's resolutions. And I want to see whether you have a good guess about what Canadians are thinking about in this year of 2023. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes, I'm ready.
How much percentage of people that were asked do you think even found resolutions to be beneficial?
I wished it was higher, but from what I've seen and what I've heard, not that many people actually like or do resolutions, I think. So I'm going to say
Okay, this
60%.
the sample size was 1,000 people, so I don't know if it's statistically significant, but
Yeah.
it's a good number. Did you say 60%?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's like basically bullseye. It's 61.9%. Okay,
Is
so
that what you expect, or what would you have said if you hadn't seen the
I would
survey?
probably have been more pessimistic, honestly.
Uh,
Okay, so at 29%, this was the most common resolution that people had. The most common one. What was it?
for me, I'm going to play it safe and guess that it's something around getting healthy, like working out or eating right or something along the lines of health.
Yeah, basically, it's to improve their personal fitness and nutrition.
Wow, look at me just knocking all of these questions out of the park. I must be
You're
really into
batting
resolutions.
you're batting 2 for 2 so far. So at the number 2 most common resolution was shared by 22% of people, so just over a fifth of all respondents had this resolution. What is it related to?
I'm going to guess it's something related to their career or their job.
Oh, that's a really good guess. Let me see if it's correct. No, you're absolutely correct. It is they are
Heyo.
planning to reach their financial goals by saving money, budgeting, and investing. So money related. Let's see what else. What else is fun here?
Don't make me guess the third one. I probably can't.
No, 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 no. I'm not going to. Okay, how many percent report to fail to stick to their resolutions?
I don't know, like 80, 85.
It's actually only 70%.
Oh, really?
That's
Okay.
lower than I
Okay.
would have thought too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you keep your resolutions, you think? Have you tracked them or I don't know, do you log them?
I do track them. I do sort of quarterly audits for my resolutions, sort of like what's working, what's not, how I've been doing. And obviously, I don't meet every single goal or resolution that I set for myself, but I think doing that reflection, having those audits, help me stay on track for longer than if I don't do them. So,
I see.
um, yeah,
What about for us? You want to
go
share
for
your
us.
resolutions?
Like in terms of my health goals, I eat out a lot and I order takeout a lot. And it's partially because of laziness, partially because of convenience. Trying to minimize my takeout and just cooking more at home, meal prepping more, saves money. So I think all good things.
I didn't know that actually. I mean, I know you buy
Hmm.
takeout, but everyone buys takeout. You've always had this obsession with kitchen appliances. I always thought you were like very domesticated in terms of that cooking thing. How often do you cook?
On average, like each week, I maybe order takeout 2 to 4 times a
Holy
week, depending
cow.
depending on the week. But I mean, like it's not the whole day, right? But it would be 7 days, probably 2 to 4 times.
Wait, do you pay for like the Uber Eats pass or whatever? Like, what do you
Yeah,
do?
I
You have a
do.
pass?
I do have a pass.
Can I have it too?
You want to share Uber? So my goal will is to decrease my eating out, and then yours is to
Is
increase.
it? I guess it's worth it, right? Like that. Okay, so sorry. This is a stupid tangent, but
Yeah, you can
yeah,
edit this out, but I think it's worth it. But it also it's just too easy. You just want
yeah,
to
it
eat
makes it
out all the
easy.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That pass
yeah.
is exactly the kind of thing that James Clear would say. Remove it from your environment. You're making it too easy for yourself.
So yeah, that's maybe a boring goal, but that's one of my goals.
That's not a boring goal. I think that's huge for your 30s, right? Because a lot of people in your 30s have moved out, especially if you're Vancouver. You're probably staying at home if you have that choice until your late 20s or something when you can have your own place. But part of living independently is cooking. And I think even if you are ahead of that curve, but if you're starting a family, that just raises the stakes even more. It's like you don't just cook for yourself, you got to cook for a child now. No, I don't think that's boring at all. I think that's something that everyone has to manage and make decisions about every single day, and it's a highly relatable topic. So one of my resolutions is like apparently a third of Canadians is exercise related. So I want to continue exercising. I think it's worked out pretty well so far. But I do feel like I'm at a point in my fitness where I can add more like additional or different workouts. So I actually have a plan to start going to the gym, but not every day. Not every day. Don't get too excited.
Ooh,
Don't get too excited. My plan is to keep doing calisthenics. So, because my right now my plan is to do strength training 3 times a week. So
yeah.
I'm going to continue doing calisthenics twice a week and gym once a week, just to add a little bit more of that weight aspect into it and maybe different sort of movements. But my friend is a gym bro, so I asked him to show me the ropes. And so January 21st is our first gym session.
Wow,
He will teach
exciting.
me some basics, and then the goal is to just go to a regular community or whatever gym nearby and drop in probably, or I don't know, buy some 10 visit pass or whatever. Not a. I don't think I'm going to do a monthly membership because I don't think going 4 times a month is going to pay for itself. But right, I don't think that's usually
Yeah,
how
I
they're
don't think so.
priced.
I'd like to. I sort of jumped the gun in my New Year's resolution. I like to just rewind a little bit and say that I actually do have a theme for my New Year's resolutions, and a lot of them center around this theme. My theme is called "Thriving in Discomfort." And I think it is like a
You
bit
stole that
cheesy
from me.
and it's
You basically
maybe
stole
I
my idea. But
maybe
I'll
I
let
don't
you
like.
I'll let you talk about it.
I would prefer to call it inspired by your idea and maybe not stealing your idea, but sure, we can, whatever way we want to spin it. I did actually take a lot of inspiration from your past few months, but
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
I
I
I
will
feel I feel
soak up this
inspired.
moment.
I just I was reflecting, and maybe it is because I'm turning 30 this year. I live in comfort. I live in my comfort zone a lot, and all the things that you said, or like who I am. Like having good habits and all that stuff. I do, but that's my comfort zone. Like I'm not going out of my comfort zone to
Mm.
create habits or to make goals or setting goals or stuff like that's what I love. I love doing that, and so that is within the comfort zone. So, and it's easy to be comfortable when you're single because you can do whatever you want whenever you want, and you don't have to answer to anyone. And so it's easy kind of to just stay in your comfort zone all the time. So I really want to do things that are more outside of my comfort zone. I feel like I don't really take the initiative to do that all that often. Even if I want to, I don't really take the steps to do that. And so some of those things are just some of those things are like work related. So for example, I hate presentations. I hate presenting anything. So I often don't raise my hands to do those things. And so
What is it about presenting that you don't like?
I don't like answering questions after, because it's not so much the public speaking aspect. I feel like it can speak. It just depends on the crowd, and I think maybe it's specifically related to work. Usually, the crowds are not the friendliest, and sometimes can be a bit hostile. But I feel like getting out of my comfort zone to do that would be good. Maybe this podcast will help.
This podcast could help because, I have a very annoying habit of asking very piercing, invasive personal questions. You're welcome. I will help you practice this
Thank
skill.
you so much. Thank you. This is, yeah, it's more about like maybe being asked questions that I'm not anticipated to know the answer of or to have prepared for, or in a way that is like attacking. I guess I'm very non-confrontational person, so
Oh my God, how are we going to continue this podcast or this friendship? Like,
you
what's,
got to confront me more.
but I'm just saying, like, because I'm not like confrontational per se, but I'm highly non-conflict avoidance. That's why
Yeah,
I'm here asking the sometimes rude questions.
no, we need that balance. We need that
That's
balance.
true. That's true. Can you share just one more example?
Another example. This is maybe more obvious. I'm taking cold showers now,
Oh my
so
God. Did you see my
um,
tweet? Did I tweet about this? I think I tweeted about this.
I don't think I've seen it. What's happening? Are you
No,
taking cold showers too?
no. It's not in my tweet. It's in my book review of the book I just read, which is basically everything you're talking about. I read a book called The Comfort Crisis. And I said
Uh
in my
huh.
review, I was like, one of my takeaways from this book is to try and take cold showers. Oh my God, you take cold showers? Can you tell me
I've
more?
been I've been doing that
When? How
since the
long?
start of January 1st. I've been taking
No.
cold showers
Not since when. Like, when do you do this in your day?
in the morning. Okay, I haven't worked my way up to taking a purely cold shower yet. Okay, I've been doing maybe a minute or 2 minutes. So maybe tooting my own horn a little bit here, but so
No,
I'll take.
that's sufficient. 1 to 2 minutes is sufficient.
Yeah, I mean, my goal is to work my way up to 5 minutes, but it's very uncomfortable. I really hate it. I'm not a cold, I'm generally not a, how some people generally just like taking cooler showers. I'm a hot shower gal. So
Most people are, I would say.
it's, it's very uncomfortable, but I will say after being there for 2 minutes, it feels amazing. There is something about cold,
Oh,
what is it?
100%.
Cold therapy or whatever it's
Yes.
cold water
Cold
therapy.
immersion therapy, whatever.
Yeah. And I've read
Yeah.
all about the health benefits of it.
Oh, me too. Me too.
But I haven't been doing that for exactly the health benefits. I've been doing that to make myself feel uncomfortable. So,
Oh, I love
um,
this. I love the past 10 minutes. I'm sorry. I love the entire podcast. Don't get me wrong. But because I obviously resonate 100%, I relate 100% to this resolution and this goal. I literally, as I just said, finished reading a book about how to thrive in discomfort. I think is maybe literally in the title of the book. But cold showers is actually on my list of things to try as well. So when you say cold showers, it does it mean that you're taking the shower in the morning already?
I shower twice a day, so fun fact. And so that's
Wait, what? You shower twice a day?
I
Like
shower twice a day because
with
I
soap?
with soap.
Okay, that's
I
another thing that if you've read about health stuff, apparently you're not supposed to like overwash yourself with soap.
I know
You've heard about that, right?
doesn't make your skin good. I've been trying to the evening shower. I've been trying to just do like a rinse, but I in the morning I go to the gym and at night I go to dance, so I cannot just go to sleep
Yeah.
sweaty. So
Yeah,
it's
that's the thing. When I sweat, I have
yeah,
to take a shower with soap. And it's,
yeah,
yeah, if you work out in the morning and then your rest of the day is also somewhat sweaty. And yeah, if you do a dance class in the evening,
yeah.
one of the most thrilling experiences I've had related to this is when I was at a ski resort like 15 years ago. I was staying at this house home. It's not Airbnb, but it was like my relative's friend. Staying at this home that had an outdoor hot tub. So we were in the hot tub and everything is snow because we're at a ski resort. So we jumped out of the hot tub. We rolled around in the snow with our swimming trunks. So like we're naked essentially. And then that was excruciating. And then we jumped back into the hot tub. And the sensation we felt when we jumped back into the hot tub was insane. Your entire body is on fire, it's tingling, and it's very weird, but very cool and arguably very pleasant as well. Have you had
Yeah,
that feeling before where your
I
skin is tingling?
definitely have that after every shower because once I turn the shower off, the room is warm because the shower is freezing cold. So the room is warm and it feels really nice. I don't even have to go back to a warm shower. I just turn the cold shower off and immediately my body feels
Oh,
great.
I'm so inspired now. Okay, you know what?
So
Before our next podcast, I want to have started this for at least a few days so we can talk about it.
you shouldn't
Let,
say you resonate with this goal because you literally inspired it. So I think you should. That's I'm gonna give you credit for that.
that is so
But
cool.
yeah,
Damn.
I have another goal, and it's on procrastination, and it kind of relates to thriving in discomfort. I think because
100%.
oftentimes
Procrastination is
um,
all about not dealing with uncomfortable feelings.
being in your comfort zone, and for me it's literally like there's a dirty dish, I'm gonna do it now instead of doing it later, or if I need to do the laundry, I'm gonna do it now. Like when I think of it, I'm gonna do it because oftentimes I'll be like, oh, I'll do that later, I'll do that after this show, I'll do that after you know, whatever I need to do.
Well, but if it's one of these small things, right? You're not procrastinating on your work project. If it's cleaning that dish, what is the negative consequence of procrastinating on that dish?
I think sometimes the little things lead to the big things. So,
Mm,
if you're constantly thinking, "I'll do that later. I'll put it off,"
mm.
I think it can trickle into the bigger things.
So it's not even just about it's not about the task per se that you're doing or not doing. It's trying to cultivate a mindset day in day out that does not allow yourself to have that thought of I'll do it later. Like you want to
Exactly.
eliminate that as much as possible.
And the trigger is always going to be like when I think of it,
Well, but
whatever,
if you've
right?
done laundry, you don't need to do it like again the same day. You should wait a few days before you do laundry again. Just because you think of it
Yeah,
doesn't mean
well
you should do it.
that's not the chore then. The chore would not be doing laundry. So
Okay.
yeah.
Procrastination has been one of my life's biggest challenges. So I can go on about that. I won't, other than to say, yeah, that's really hard. But I think it's more interesting to me that you're trying to develop this mindset. The idea of like leaving a dish to later, it doesn't seem like a big deal. But I think if you do cultivate a new identity where you just don't allow yourself to procrastinate on anything, period, that is probably pretty life changing. Even probably just even how you feel about yourself, the environment that you are in would be better. You know how you said earlier that these habits that I say you're that you inspire a lot of people on, you're saying that this is your comfort zone. I found that super interesting and very, very illuminating, I guess, because I did have that confusion. I'm like, gee, you already live an amazing life. Like, what do you do all the hard things. You know, you go to the gym in the morning at like 5:30 a.m. But then I guess everything is relative, right? Just because that's hard for like 99% of us doesn't mean that it's hard for you. And if it is something that's easy for you, that means that you're not putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation, which is never good. So that's so interesting. Sorry, go.
Exactly. And I feel like I've been trying to explain this to you for years, but I don't think I was getting through to you because yeah, I feel like you did like look up to me in that aspect, but like I said, because you would always ask me like why or how do you wake up at 4:30 every morning and
Hmm.
go to the gym? It's very easy for me. Like I'm not trying to brag, but it is easy for me. And
This podcast is not going to work because no one's going to relate to you as a host.
you cannot hey, all those other people at the gym at the same time as me can relate. Um and there's obviously hard things for me too. Like this, I'm not just saying everything is easy for me, but in that
Yes.
particular example is easy for me. It's in my comfort zone. I
Yeah.
can do it. Like the goals that I have, maybe other people find
Yes.
easy,
Yeah. No,
right?
that's a good point.
So it's all relative, right?
I'm
It really individualized.
So I'm trying to think of what's something that I find easy that a lot of people find hard that is a good thing. I can't come up with anything. Let me think. Oh, I drink a lot of water.
That is actually really hard for a lot of people. They actually have to go out and buy the water bottles that tell them when they need to be drinking water.
But although I don't know if that's hard for me, but it's not in the sense that like it's not hard because I do it, but I am intentional about it. It doesn't just happen. I do it because I know I should, but it's not hard for me to do it because I guess I just don't mind. Like I drink like probably 2 liters of water a day. I don't know if that's a lot, but at
I
least
think
two
that's
liters.
probably a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you have your resolutions and your goals? Just in a more casual and fun way. Like, what are you excited for this year? What are
Yeah,
you looking forward to?
this is the fun stuff. I feel like your goals and resolutions, it's like motivating and exciting, but it's something that you have to work towards. I think
It's very sobering.
yeah, yeah. I there's a lot of things I'm looking forward to this year. I'm going on a big Asia trip in April. And along with that, celebrating my 30th birthday.
Woot
And I think
woot.
that's going to be yeah, it's going to be a really super fun trip. I'm going for a bachelorette and then in conjunction with my birthday, going to Bali and the Philippines. And so, really looking forward to that. More traveling always gets people excited, I guess.
Bali is that the wedding or is that not the
That's the
wedding?
bachelorette. And
Bachelorette in Bali. God damn.
yeah. And then the Philippines will be my birthday. So,
I guess you and your
anticipating a lot of
friends.
island life and diving,
I
which
guess
is two of my favorites.
speaking of finances earlier, I guess you and your friends not doing too bad. I guess if you're going doing your bachelorette in Bali, good for you. Props.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be probably a costly trip, but
Worth
you know,
it.
worth
I
it.
actually really want to go to Bali because it looks so beautiful. Like that's something that I might want to go for like a honeymoon. You know.
Yeah, I
So
think
let
that's
me know
probably a
if it's
pretty
honeymoon worthy when you come back.
popular honeymoon destination for
Yeah,
sure. So
more of a honeymoon destination than a bachelorette destination. That's an interesting place to go for bachelorette. Okay, what else? What else are you excited for this 2023 year?
I'm excited to see where this podcast goes. To be honest, this is like completely new for me, kind of outside my comfort zone. Even though I like talking to people, just being creative is not my strong suit. I feel like you got to have some creativity to do something like this. So,
For me, I also share this excitement for the creativity aspect. I jotted down that I think this space to do something creative, to create content, is very exciting for me because I almost as an identity, I voraciously consume content. I am a content consumer extraordinaire. I listen to hours and hours of podcasts. I read books. I watch YouTube videos a lot. So I consume so much because that's part of my personality. I love to learn. I love to collect data. I love to collect information. But I've always wanted to put something out in the world because I see that the people who can not just make money but have an impact are people who create value for others. And so even though I can enrich my internal intellectual mind through consumption, I feel like what I'm missing from my job that I'm not like super passionate about is something that allows me to provide some sort of value or entertainments to others. And hopefully through this podcast, maybe if another goal is to start, create, not start, actually create a board game prototype because I love this playing board games and I love to design board games. Hopefully these creative pursuits will give me a chance to put something out in the world and allow me to exercise my creativity, which I think is going to be really, really interesting and new.
I love that because I feel like that is one of your strong suits. You have a lot of thoughts and like I feel like you're really creative. And so to not share that
I do
in
feel it's
some sort of
untapped.
platform, yeah,
I
is
feel
would
it's a
be a
bit
waste
untapped.
of potential.
2023, here we come.
Yes.
That 30 show is coming to a theater near you. Brace yourselves. It's going to change everything.
Not a
Nothing,
theater.
the
We're not
world
showing
will,
our videos.
no, I know. But I'm just saying, like, the world will
To
never be the same. This changes everything.
the world's about to change, especially for all the 30-year-olds.
Everyone's going to look back and be like, I can't imagine how I lived in this world before that 30 show because now it's so synonymous with my everyday, every week, my routine every week. No, I'm kidding.
Should we stop while we're behind?
Hey, we gotta put that energy out into the universe. But no, I mean, I think we're gonna enjoy this regardless of what happens, right? So let's enjoy the journey. Let's make the most of it, be our best selves, and have fun along the way.
Love that. Great way to end off.
Bye bye.
Bye.